In the fast-moving world of global politics, some stories fade away quickly, while others quietly wait for the right moment to return. One such unusual and surprising story is the idea once floated by former U.S. President Donald Trump: the purchase of Greenland. At the time, the suggestion shocked many people, amused others, and confused almost everyone. It sounded like something from a history book rather than a modern political discussion. Yet years later, the story of Trump and Greenland continues to resurface in media discussions, political debates, and online conversations. So why does this story keep coming back? Was it just a joke, a serious geopolitical strategy, or a misunderstood political move? And more importantly, what does it tell us about modern politics, global power, and the Arctic's growing importance? Let's take a deep and clear look at the full story. Greenland is the world's largest island, located between the Arctic and Atlantic Oceans. Despite its massive size, it has a very small population, with most residents living along the coast. Greenland is an autonomous territory within the Kingdom of Denmark, meaning it governs many of its own affairs, but still relies on Denmark for defense and foreign policy. At first glance, Greenland may appear remote and quiet. However, strategically, it is one of the most important regions in the world. Greenland sits at a critical point between North America and Europe. It is close to major Arctic shipping routes and lies near areas believed to hold vast natural resources, including rare earth minerals, oil, and gas. As climate change melts Arctic ice, access to these resources and shipping routes is becoming easier and more valuable. For major global powers like the United States, Russia, and China, Greenland is not just an island. It is a key piece in the future of global strategy. The idea of the United States acquiring Greenland did not begin with Donald Trump. In fact, it goes back more than a century. In 1867, after purchasing Alaska from Russia, the U.S. government briefly considered acquiring Greenland as well. Later, after World War II, the United States again explored the idea of buying Greenland from Denmark. At that time, the Arctic was becoming increasingly important due to Cold War tensions. Although Denmark refused, the U.S. maintained a strong military presence in Greenland. Even today, the United States operates through a layer base in northern Greenland, a critical installation for missile defense and space surveillance. So while Trump's idea sounded shocking to the public, it was not entirely new from a historical or strategic perspective. In 2019, reports emerged that President Donald Trump had expressed interest in purchasing Greenland. According to sources, Trump had discussed the idea with advisors and asked them to look into the possibility. When the news broke, it spread rapidly across global media. Many people initially believed it was a joke or misinformation. However, the White House later confirmed that the president had indeed shown interest in the idea. Trump himself addressed the topic publicly, calling it strategically interesting and comparing it to a large real estate deal. The reaction was immediate and intense. Denmark's response was swift and firm. The Danish Prime Minister stated clearly that Greenland was not for sale and described the idea as absurd. Greenland's own leadership also rejected the notion, emphasizing that Greenland belongs to its people and that any future decisions must be made by them. In response to Denmark's rejection, Trump canceled a planned state visit to Copenhagen, escalating tensions and turning the situation into a diplomatic incident. What started as an unusual policy discussion quickly became a symbol of strained relations, unconventional leadership, and media spectacle. So, despite the public reaction, there were real strategic reasons behind Trump's interest. First, Greenland plays a critical role in U.S. national security. Its location allows for early detection of missile launches and provides strategic advantages in Arctic defense. Second, Greenland is rich in rare earth minerals, which are essential for modern technology, including smartphones, electric vehicles, and military equipment. At the time, China dominated the global supply of these minerals, raising concerns in Washington. Third, as Arctic ice melts, new shipping routes are opening, reducing travel time between major markets. Controlling or influencing these routes is a major geopolitical goal. From this perspective, Trump's interest in Greenland was not purely symbolic. It reflected broader concerns about competition with China and Russia in the Arctic. One reason the Greenland story remains popular is how it was portrayed in the media. Many headlines focused on the shocking and humorous nature of the idea, rather than the strategic context behind it. Memes, jokes, and satirical commentary spread quickly online. This media framing turned a complex geopolitical issue into a viral moment. While it captured public attention, it also oversimplified the discussion and made serious analysis more difficult. As a result, the Greenland proposal became a cultural reference point rather than a serious policy debate. In recent years, the topic of Greenland has quietly returned to policy discussions, though without Trump's name attached. The U.S. has increased diplomatic engagement with Greenland, reopened a consulate there, and expanded economic cooperation. American officials now regularly discuss Arctic security and investment. At the same time, China has shown interest in Greenland's infrastructure and resources, prompting concerns in Washington and Copenhagen. Russia has also expanded its military presence in the Arctic, making the region more contested than ever. In this context, Trump's earlier interest in Greenland now appears less strange and more like an early signal of a broader strategic shift. The reason the story is resurfacing today is simple. The Arctic is becoming one of the most important regions in global politics. Climate change, resource competition, and great power rivalry are pushing Greenland into the spotlight. Analysts and commentators are revisiting past decisions and statements to understand how we arrived at this moment. Trump's Greenland proposal is now being viewed through a different lens. Instead of a joke, it is increasingly seen as a blunt and unconventional expression of real geopolitical concerns. The Trump Greenland episode highlights several important lessons. First, communication matters. How an idea is presented can shape how it is received. A serious strategic proposal, when framed poorly, can quickly lose credibility. Second, global power competition is evolving. Regions once considered remote are now central to international strategy. Third, media narratives play a powerful role in shaping public understanding of complex issues. Finally, the story shows how unconventional leadership styles can disrupt traditional diplomacy, sometimes creating opportunities and other times causing friction. Greenland's future will be shaped primarily by its own people. As autonomy grows, Greenland faces important choices about development, partnerships, and independence. The island will continue to attract attention from major powers, but balancing economic opportunity with environmental protection and political sovereignty will remain a challenge. For the United States, engagement with Greenland will likely continue through diplomacy, investment, and security cooperation rather than dramatic proposals. Greenland and Trump, a forgotten tale making a comeback, is more than just a catchy headline. It is a reminder that even the most unusual political moments can reveal deeper truths about global change. What once seemed absurd now looks like an early chapter in a larger story about the Arctic's rise, shifting power dynamics, and the challenges of modern leadership. As the world continues to change, stories like this help us understand not just where we have been, but where we may be heading next. And for that reason, the tale of Trump and Greenland may never fully disappear. It simply waits for the next moment to return.